Great. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us once more. Good. So I hope you guys have my picture. I'm so happy that I'm talking to you. Do you have my picture? Yes, yes?
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
That's great. Very good. So you've got my picture. Of course, you can hear me. This is great. Let's go and let's get started. This is Vocabulary Builder, everybody. And let me show you the book because many of you guys asked me about the book. So this is the book, everyone. This is the book that I'm using every session, and we're together, and we're studying this book together. And there it is. So this is the book. English Vocabulary in Use. It is a great book, I believe, and the edition I'm using is the fourth edition. The fourth edition, English Vocabulary in Use, pre-intermediate and intermediate, and I think it's a great book. There are a lot of words that we can learn. So next time you're talking about something, you can easily do that. So I believe it's great and it is fantastic. So great. Hi, Moshabo. Hi, Romina. Hi, Navid. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. So previous session, we studied Unit 30. We finished Unit number 30. And this time, we are going to start Unit number 31. So let's go to page, Unit 31, page 68. Okay? So at first, I've got a bunch of questions for you. Let's go and let's say this. So what is this, everyone? What is this? This is
It's a socket.
Exactly. This is a socket, and the socket is right there on the wall, and that's how you can use electricity. For example, if you have like a, I don't know, let me show you I have a fan. Let me show you the fan. Okay, this is a fan. Okay, and to use this fan, I should plug in, a socket, and that's how I use it. So, and what is this?
Plug.
That's a plug. Fantastic. Yes, if you're using electronic gadgets and appliances, there's a plug, and then you put the plug in the socket, you plug in, and that's how you can turn the TV on, etc., etc. And what is this?
It's
Control.
Exactly. We say a remote control. Everybody, remote.
Remote control.
Fantastic. In Persian and Farsi, we say remote. Okay. However, in English, you gotta say remote control. That's perfect. And we also have this thing. Okay. For example, you're studying this book. Thank you. You're studying this book, for example, and then you see a word and you think this word is important. To remember that word, you're going to use a
Highlighter
pen.
a highlighter, or you're going to use a highlighter pen. And the verb is to highlight. For example, this word is important, so you're going to highlight this word. So the verb is highlight. All right, good. And so what about this one? What is this thing?
ruler. It's a ruler.
It's a ruler, exactly. And when do we use the ruler, Moshaba?
We're using math.
For measuring something.
Yeah, we use it in math, and also we use it to measure something. For example, you want to know how big or small a box is, so you're going to use a ruler, and you're going to measure that thing. So let me write down the word measure for you. There it is. So the verb is to measure.
Measure.
Yes, that's perfect. And if you're using a pencil, I do not have a pencil, but many people still use a pencil. And when you make a mistake, what do you use to erase your mistake?
Rubber.
Use the rubber, exactly.
And we say eraser.
Yeah, you can also say the eraser. Yes, rubber, eraser, both are correct. And the verb, everyone, is to erase. That is the verb. As a verb, to say to erase something. That is the verb. And so if you use the pen, use the pencil so much, you might need something to make the tip of the pen sharp so that you can write with that more beautifully. So what is that thing?
Pencil sharpener.
Yeah, it's called a pencil sharpener, and the verb is to sharpen. Yeah, to sharpen the pen. So,
Excuse me, is it sharpener or sharpener?
I mean, as
The
a verb,
pronunciation.
sharpener. Yeah, I mean, sharpener. You don't say sharpener. You say pencil sharpener. So it's not a penner. It's not that a strong ne, but it's not pener either. So you say pencil sharpener. And the verb is also the sharpen. That's the verb, and that's it. So, what do we use? What tool do we use to sharpen our pencils?
Pencil sharpener.
Thank you very much. We use a pencil sharpener. That's it. And I'm not really sure if we still use them, but this thing is called a DVD. And to use the DVD, for example, you want to watch, I don't know, a video, a movie, to use the DVD, you're going to need a machine, a gadget, a big machine, almost a big machine. What is that machine or gadget called?
DVD
player.
It's called a DVD player. So now I've got a question. So the socket, the plug, the highlighter pen, remote control, the rubber, pencil sharpener, etc. When do we usually see these things together?
When we educate about something on a DVD and we need to write something and highlight new and important things, and we need pencil,
yes,
eraser, something like that, I think.
Exactly.
Or maybe mathematics.
Yeah, so more or less when you're studying, right?
Yes,
so,
I meant.
Exactly. So when you're studying, when you are learning, as you said, math, doing research or something like this, yeah. So these are normally the things that we use. You're studying, you're using a highlighter pen, you want to watch something, you use the DVD player, etc. So great job. And right now we have the verbs, right? You use a rubber to rub something out. To rub something out, yeah. We can also use the verb erase, but to rub something out, we use a ruler to measure something, we use a pencil sharpener to sharpen our pencils, and we use a highlighter pen to highlight a word. Okay, so right now, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I want you to think about these questions and try to respond to them. So, what do we call a case that we use we keep our pencils and pens and such and so there? What is that? Thank you very much. My first question is, do you have a pencil case? That's a very important question. Do you have a pencil case? And if yes, why? If no, why not? Let us know why you don't have a pencil case. I have a pencil case. I don't know about you guys. I don't have it with me, but I think it's a good idea to have a pencil case because that's how you make sure you won't lose your, I don't know, pencils and pens, erasers, rubbers, etc. And the next question is, if you have a pencil case, what do you have in your pencil case? What do you have in your pencil case? The next question I'm going to ask you is, what are there in your room, and what are there in your English class? Do you have a DVD player? Do you use it? Do you still use it? What for? So these are the questions for you. I'm going to put you into different breakout rooms. I want you to ask one another these questions. So let me copy them in the public chat so that you can see them all. So try to ask one another these questions in the public in the breakout room. Ask and try to give long answers. So are you going to answer the questions with one word, or are you going to explain more? Which one?
Explain more.
Explain more.
Thank you very much. So try to explain more. I mean, why? For example, you have a pencil case. Okay, why? Because you are very tidy, because you need your highlighter pens with you. Like, why is that? So let's go and let's talk about it. Alrighty. So welcome back. Great. So I think if you have a pencil case, that means that you are neat and tidy. Okay? So you are neat and tidy. And when you are neat and tidy, let me write it down. Neat and tidy. It means that you have a pencil case, you know where your pens are, you know where your pencils are, and you're so tidy and neat. But if you're messy, or at least not that neat and tidy, you may not have a pencil case. You might have a highlighter pen, you might have a pencil sharpener, but you don't know where they are sometimes. Or you might put them all into your bag. So that's being neat and tidy. That's great. And to talk about your room, for example, you want to say that, okay, I can see a bed, I can see a window, I can see, for example, a lamp. You can use the word there is. Okay, so you can say there is a bed and there is, for example, a lamp. Okay, you use the word there is, but you use the word there is to talk about one thing, like there's a bed, there's a lamp, right? There is, I don't know, a desk. So you're talking about one thing. However, if you want to talk about more than one thing, you might want to use the word there are. So you can say, okay, in my room, there are some paintings, there are some chairs, there's a bed. Okay, so to talk about one thing, you say there is. To talk about two things or more, you use there are. And if you want to say, okay, I have no bed. For example, someone might say, I don't have a bed in my bedroom. You might say, there is no bedroom, for example. There's no bed in my bedroom. Or you might say, there's no desk. Or there aren't any desks. Okay, that's how you can for negative sentences. So do you have any questions for me, everyone? Any questions that you want to ask me?
Teacher, what's the meaning of commode?
Closet. Yeah, you can say closet, Ronak.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, good. So right now, let's go. Sometimes, let's go to the next part. Sometimes you might see a word and you might say, oh gosh, I don't know this word. I don't know the meaning of this word, right? If you don't know the meaning of a word, what you should do, you should go and
look up in a dictionary.
fantastic.
Look up.
Yeah, you should go and look it up in a dictionary. So when you look up a word in a dictionary, are you trying to find a word or are you just studying the dictionary?
Both of them.
It's fun.
You're trying to find a word. Yeah. For example, I see the word, for example, task, and I don't know the meaning. What I do is, okay, I check the dictionary, I look it up, I look up the word task, and then find it, and then read it to understand what this word means, right? So you never study a dictionary. You normally look up words in a dictionary because dictionary is a really big book. Good. Sometimes you might have no dictionaries at home. Okay, for example, someone will say, oh, I don't have a dictionary. I believe you guys can easily use your phones. I believe you use your smartphone. No problem. You look up the words in a dictionary, in an online dictionary. But sometimes you might need a book. If you don't have this book, you might ask your friend, hi, Arash, hi, for example, Leila, Maryam, and can I have your book? And when you get their book, this is called to
Borrow.
borrow. So if you borrow someone's book, is it yours?
No.
Of course not. But sometimes people say in Iran, you should never lend your book to others because when they borrow your book, they will never give you the book back. I don't know if that's true. I think it is true, but that's it.
It's true.
That's great. It's true. Okay, so Fresha, do you have any memories
Yes, I borrow some book of my friends, and I don't back them.
So you did it. So you borrowed
Yes.
some book and you never gave them the books back.
Yes.
Fantastic. Very good, Thursday. Great.
So I decided to not compliment a novel for my friend.
You
Because-
decided not to
Compliment.
lend them.
Not to compliment a novel, because when we say them, for example, a novel is a good novel, they tell me, can you give it, can you let it to us? And then they don't return it back.
I got the memo, right? Oh, okay. So you never say nice things about books you read.
Yes.
Even if the book is great and fantastic,
Yes.
you'll still say something like, yeah, it's not a bad book. That's a great strategy. I mean, people say, okay,
Yes.
so that book is so boring. So why should I bother and ask Amir to lend me the book? So forget about it. I mean, great strategy. Yes. Also, Amir, people, like business people also more or less do the same thing. If you ask a business person, okay, how's the market? Are you making a lot of money? And people, especially business people, might say, no, the market is too bad. I'm not making much cash, right? Great. So as I said, you plug in the DVD player. You simply put the plug in the electric socket. And sometimes you might not hear what someone is saying, or for example, you're watching TV and you can't hear what that person is saying. So what you do is you pick up the remote control and then you
Turn on.
Plug it in.
you turn up the
Turn up?
volume. Yeah, you turn up the volume. So if you turn up the volume, so is the voice going to be louder or is it going to be quieter?
Louder.
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 Loud.
Fantastic. Very good. And when you make a mistake, for example, sometimes your teacher is going to
Correct it.
Correct you.
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
When you make a mistake, your teacher, normally not always, of course, because if your teachers correct your mistakes all the time, you might not like it. It's going to be a bit annoying. But normally, sometimes teachers correct their students' English, and that's how you can learn from your mistakes. So, by the way, if you can't hear, for example, a radio show or a TV show, you're going to turn up the volume. But what if when the voice is too loud and you are not happy? What is the opposite of turn up?
Turn
up.
up. Turn down.
Turn down. Yeah, turn up, you raise the volume. Turn down, you decrease and you reduce the volume, and that's something. Great. So here we also have some questions. I have a book, and you don't have the book. So if you need the book, you're going to
Borrow.
and I have the book, so I'm gonna
Lend.
fantastic. That's how it works. Absolutely. That's how it works. Yeah. If you lend someone something, you give it to them for a period of time. If you borrow something from someone, you get it from them for some time. So could you lend me your pen? Means the same as could I borrow your pen? So that's how it works. So in English classes, you can speak to the teacher, but sometimes you can speak to your classmates, to your neighbors in the class. So what do we call that person?
Partner.
Partner.
A partner. Exactly, a partner. Fantastic. And sometimes you're talking to, for example, Mariam, and then maybe your teacher wants you to talk to somebody else. So sometimes you might need to change your seats. You need to stand up and go somewhere else, right? Or to change your place. So to change your place, we can say to
Swap places.
Swap.
yes, swap places. Yes, swap places. So when you swap your place, you change your seats. For example, Ali, could you swap places with Mariam? It means Mariam is going to sit where Ali is sitting, and Ali is going to sit where Mariam was sitting. So swap, places. That's all right. And I have the book I'm writing, and my teacher wants me to show my book to someone else. This is called to
Share.
share. Yeah, share. You don't need to say share, but just share. Yeah, could you share your book with Petra, which means let's do it together. And last but not least, sometimes your teachers might want you to repeat or to say something after them. This can help you say that thing better. So, for example, I might say land and ask you all to repeat, and you're going to say the word after I do, and that's it. So, any questions from me, everyone?
No question.
No, thanks.
So I've got a question for you, Roya. So Roya, do you think it is good to speak with your partners in order to learn how to speak better? Do you think it is good?
Yes, I think it's good. Maybe they don't have book, and we can share our book with them.
Absolutely. And to speak with your partner, sometimes, Roya, sometimes the students think that if I want to learn English, I should be talking to the teacher, because the teacher can speak really well. The teacher is going to correct my English. So that's how I'm going to learn. But if I spoke to my classmate and my friends, I wouldn't learn much. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
You agree? Why?
Because when we talk with our partner, we don't understand our mistakes.
But Roya, don't you think that sometimes speaking and communicating with somebody is more than just being worried about making mistakes? Because I know a lot of you guys know a lot of words, but you can never use them. If you are to wait for the teacher to talk to you, if you have, for example, 8 classmates, you have to wait for 20 minutes. And when that's your turn, it's a bit too late. So don't you think sometimes it can be a good idea to talk to our speaking partners, our friends, and our classmates, because that's how we can use the words we know in a real conversation? Roya, I can't hear you.
I agree with you. Yes.
I think something went wrong. But Shima, why do you agree with me?
Because my teacher not always talking with me, but my partner is I can every time I could talking with her or with his, and I don't have a stress because I'm mistake or I don't know how I'm speaking with her, but with my teacher I bit stressed because I'm worried about what I'm talking, which sentences is more I'm used. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak to your classmates and speaking partners, you have more time.
Relax.
Yeah, you have more time and more space
Yes.
to speak and to practice. Speaking to teachers, of course, is really helpful, but if you waited too long, then it's not a great idea. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Shima. So right now, I've got some questions for you. Again, we're going to talk about this, and let's check out the questions. Why do you think teachers ask their learners to swap places? And the next question is, do you think teachers should correct their students' English all the time? Like every single sentence, every single minute? And the fourth question is, do you think it is a good idea to lend your books to your classmates? The next question is why. So, and that's it. And the last question, do you ever borrow books from friends? Why? So we have 5 questions right there, and let's go and let's discuss them all. So the questions are in the shared notes. I want you to copy the questions because once I put you into different breakout rooms, you may not be able to see the questions, and that may cause some confusion. So copy the questions and think about them. I'm going to put you into different breakout rooms. Try to talk to one another, please. Let's go. Great. Thank you very much, everyone. So that's it. Yeah. By the way, it's share. Okay, please make sure you don't say it very strong, like, right? You easily say share your book with somebody. So fantastic. Thank you very much. Right now, have you got any questions for me? Any?
No, thanks.
I believe Romina has a question. Romina, do you
Yes. In this summer, how many lessons you did teach? Because this is my first session and I don't know how many lessons you teach to students.
Romina, it is unit number 31, okay? And every week I teach a lesson. So next week I'm going to be teaching unit 32 and then unit 33. So we have covered 30 units. By the way, I started the book long time ago, and then we stopped it, and then after some time I stopped it. So it doesn't matter like how many sessions left or how many sessions we have had so far. I believe the most important thing is to keep up with the lesson and work hard. So I believe that's what more or less you got to be doing. And you got to get the book. I believe this is a great idea to get the book.
Yes, I have a book, yeah.
So then that's great.
Teacher, what's the level? Intermediate or G?
Pre-intermediate and intermediate. The level is pre-intermediate and intermediate together.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great. So let's move on. In the class, you might want to ask your teachers to tell you about the meaning of a word. So the way to do it is to ask such a question, like, what does it mean? What does tiny mean? What does cup mean? What does, because there's also a theory introduced by my friend called the cup theory. So you can ask, you can talk about that. So what does it mean? You can ask this little question. What does it mean? Great. And if you have a problem with the pronunciation, because you, for example, I believe someone asked me, is it pencil sharpener? Is it or sharp penner or sharpener? Which one is that? So the question is, how do you pronounce pencil sharpener? And I might say pencil sharpener. That's it. Or you might want me to write down the words or to tell you how it is spelled. So that's where you ask, how do you spell this word? For example, I might say tiny, and then you might say, okay, how do you spell this word? And then I'm going to go T-I-N-Y. T-I-N-Y. So that's how you spell the word tiny, which means very small. And then sometimes you might want to know how you should use a word or where you should use a word. For example, you might ask, how do you use the word wow? Or you might also ask, how do you use the word congratulations? And then I'm going to say, okay, when something great happens to somebody, when they get married or they graduate from university or they win a prize, you can easily say, okay, how do you use this word? How do you use the word congratulations? How do you use this word or that word? So that's how you use the words. And then there is one last question that you might need to ask, is to ask about how, for example, the word speak is different than the word talk. Because you might say, okay, how should we use them? So you can ask like this. Could you explain the difference between, for example, speak and talk? Could you explain the difference between borrow and lend? Could you explain the difference between and then the words? Okay, that's how you ask these questions. So right now, our time's almost over, but I want you to do me a favor. I want you to ask me some questions. So use what does mean, how do you pronounce how do you spell and how do you use the word okay, or could you explain the difference between and So you can type the words, you can say the words, the questions, however you like, okay, however you desire. So shoot, any questions for me?
Teacher, what
So I
does
can see
whistle?
Rona, go ahead.
Whistle is a sport meaning.
Me.
What does whistle mean?
Yes.
Great. Whistle. Yeah, whistle is to do this. I can't whistle, but when you do this, like this, that is whistling, and you're whistling, and that's how you do it. Okay, so do we have any other questions? You're welcome.
No.
Fantastic, Ronak. What about others?
No, teacher. Thank you.
Mustafa has no questions.
Teacher, could you explain the difference between pain and ache, like headache?
To tell you the difference between headache, ache,
Pain,
right?
pain, yeah, and
We don't have pain. We have pain. Pain and
Pain.
ache, right?
yes.
Pain and ache. First, and normally, not always. Normally, ache is not that serious. Okay, but pain is really strong. All right. So if you say I have a pain in my head, that means woo, something's going on. Maybe you bang your head somewhere, and oh God, you might have a serious problem. However, when you say I'm having a headache or I have a headache, that is like some slight pain that is not going to kill you, right? So pain, really strong, normally, not always, by the way, normally. That's how different these two words are from one another. But ache is not that serious, I'd say. Like, because you say, oh, I've got a backache or I've got a headache. So you're not going to die. But if you say, I've got some pain in my stomach, apparently something's going on. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. We can use pain about mentally or imaginary situation. For example, pain in the life. I don't know.
You can also,
human
exactly, Shahla. Yes, yeah. We can say, for example, something. We can use it metaphorically,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and we also have some structures that use pain and ache together. But yeah, we can use pain like this. But we can also talk about the usual aches and pains. That is, I believe, kind of fun. And then you want to talk about the normal pains in your body. No, Shahla, no. First up, I'm so sorry. No. Let me say that, and then I'll listen to you.
Yes.
So everybody. So normally, when you want to talk about the usual, because if you are in your 30s and 40s and 50s, if you're in your 20s, you won't understand what I'm saying. But if you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, whenever you get up in the morning, you have some aches and pains in your body. So if you want to talk about such pains that are not that serious, you can say, yeah, I'm having the usual aches and pains, which means, yes, I'm 40 and I'm having such problems. But let's go back to your question, Shahla. As I said, we can use pain. We can use pain, of course, metaphorically. As I said, my answer to your question was yes, we can use it that way. But ache is not used that much that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But that's metaphoric. I mean, that's not real use, but that's a metaphoric use. Yeah.
Can I ask question? Sorry.
Yes, why not? Yeah.
We have a word rob, synonym of steal.
Yeah.
So, what difference between a robber and rob in writing?
I'm going to answer your question only if, Romina, you asked me the right way. So could you ask the question again and use the words and use that question right there?
What is the difference between a rob
what is the difference?
and...
No. So could you explain the difference, right?
Could you explain how do you pronounce a rob and robber?
No, Romina, do you have the screen? Do you have the screen?
Yeah.
Is your question,
could you explain the difference between
okay, you're not
robber and rob?
No, wait a second, Romina. Is your question about pronunciation or is it about meaning?
Both of them, pronunciation and meaning.
So, one at a time. If you want to ask 10 questions at once, that's going to be too tough. So my advice for you is to just ask one question at a time. First, let me answer the first question, and then if you have time, I might answer the second one. So let's go for the first question.
could you explain the difference between robber and rob in pronunciation?
In terms of pronunciation, they're the same. Like we say rob and say
And
rob.
pronunciation, I mean spelling.
Okay, so
Robber, it means eraser, and robbing is stealing.
Maybe the question you should ask is, could you explain the difference between rob and steal?
Yeah, this is correct. Yes.
Right, so you normally rob a bank. Okay, you normally rob a bank. But or you rob somewhere. Okay, or somebody. You rob. For example, you say, "Oh, I was robbed." Maybe someone stole your phone. But when you say steal, you don't steal a place. You don't steal a bank. When we use steal, we use what you stole. We have to say what you stole. So I rob a bank. So probably you stole money. But if you say steal, you should say what you stole. For example, someone stole my phone. But to use rob, you might say I was robbed. Okay. So when we use steal, you should say what was missing and what is missing.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. By the way, I just gotta say goodbye. Wish you nothing but the best. Yeah, Rob. Yes, Amir. Yeah, it was. Oh, maybe that Rob is. No. I'm sure she didn't mean that. Yeah. So gotta say goodbye. Wish you nothing but the best. Stay safe and enjoy. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.